tablets and cell phones affect your child's brain? The tablets and phones are such a part of our culture, it's almost impossible to avoid them long term.
Hi everyone, welcome back with me on our YouTube channel. If you click on this video, it means the topic is interesting to you, right? Yeah, maybe half of us feel related to this topic. Before we go so far, make sure you already subscribe and turn on the notification to find out what other interesting videos are in this channel. So, our topic today is dangers of iPad kids. Some of us are familiar with this slang, but let's get to know what the iPad kids are and why this generation has a chance to be a bad one. iPad kids is basically a slang made by some users on TikTok referring to children who are addicted to their gadgets. In this context, this addiction is not as important as that. It's not like when we were in the COVID-19 era when we should hold gadgets 24/7. We need that to study, to work, or to communicate with others. But these iPad kids use their gadgets for interesting things. Gaming, scrolling on social media, or watching a video. So, in this issue, gadgets will surely have a bad impact on them, whether short-term or long-term. From very common things to serious things, what's that? Yeah, this is the 7 dangerous side of letting your kids be friend with the gadgets. Pay attention till the end. 7. Obesity. Obesity is one of the most serious things in our era now. We've seen so many people with obesity, which is causing another problem in the end. Obesity is basically a foundation for a lot of diseases. When someone gets obese, they could have heart disease, then diabetes, and so on. So what do you think if some people have invested in obesity since they were children? Now, I want to ask you as an adult, what will accompany you when your eyes are on screen? Yes, snacks. What kind of snacks? Everything. Same as children. As long as they are glued to their screen, they will focus on that. So what will happen to them? They lack movement or other physical activities. Increasing screen time also means increasing snacking habits. Imagine when people give total attention to the screen. They don't really care about others. They will enjoy the snacks without feeling guilty. Guess what happened? Yeah, they will snacking more and more. We don't talk about what they eat, but many of these people, especially children, don't really care about what they eat. Either it is sugary, salty, or spicy. So what impact is caused by this habit? Yeah, obesity. As we talked before, increasing screen time means increasing snacking habits too. And especially in children, because they don't really pay attention to what they eat, they can't control what kind of food they eat. And the worst part is that they don't move after eating, walk, run, or do any movement to make their body digest the food. They go back to the first pose, sitting or maybe laying down, and it's the same, like they build fat in their bodies. 6. Unable to socialize well. For some people, this problem is not so deep, but if we don't change this habit, it will turn from a short-term effect into a long-term effect. When kids are on their gadgets, of course, they will forget what is on their side. Their mom, their school, or even themselves. Because of that, they lost interest in others and started focusing on what was on their screen. Well, they won't build interaction and socialize with people outside because they don't feel interested anymore. This kid thinks that what they should finish are their games, their videos, scrolling on social media, and don't have responsibilities in the real world. 5. Speech delay. Are you often seeing your child or kids around you mimic what they watch on YouTube? Or do they burst out laughing because of something funny on TikTok? This scene may seem like they are interacting or making conversation in one way. If they are incorrect in what they express, no one corrects them and it becomes serious. First, let's separate between speech and language delay. Speech delay is when a child can use words or phrases to express what they mean, but it is difficult to understand. So, it's about how they learn to communicate with others, right? Usually it's just with their parents or siblings. Let's think about it. When the kids are on their screens, they totally focus on it. And we, as adults, usually don't interrupt them. It's the problem. Moreover, when the kids still can't speak yet, they just learn communication in one way. They don't practice it with other people with their own voice and mouth. And as we know, everything we learn but never practice is useless. Same with this case. Children who learn to communicate or speak but don't really have the time or chance to practice it are totally useless. So yeah, it's definitely a serious issue. 4. Information overload. Information is an important thing, of course, but on the other side, it can be dangerous for people who use it incorrectly. Either it can be used as a basis for wrong behavior, or they can't deliver it properly. So the question is, how can they receive this information if they can't use it properly? So imagine you receive a lot of birthday gifts from your friend, and it makes your room full. You don't need all of them, of course. Maybe you just need 1 or 5 of all these gifts. And what happens to other gifts? What happened to your room? And what happened to you? These gifts will be abandoned in your room. Your room will be full of them, and you will not be able to use them, and you will feel, what should I do with these gifts? Should I throw it? Should I use all of these? But I still have the same items. Yeah, you feel desperate. These analogies relate to what we, or the kids around us, consume when we consume a lot of information from the internet. So gifts are information, and room is your brain. You won't be able to control it or use it properly. It's called information overload. What happens when we receive a lot of information? If you think it makes you smarter, say half yes, half no. Why? Because you don't need all of them. It causes inefficiency and disrupts the distribution of information. We, as adults, may still be in control of what we should believe or not, and what information makes us smarter, more critical, or more useful. But children still don't have this kind of ability. They will find it difficult to separate between true and hoax information. So they will believe all of the information they consume from social media, TV, the internet, and any other sources. Actually, it's not that deep if they just stop here, but we never know. Who knows, one day, they will practice what they see on the internet in the wrong way. Let's take an example. Simple things. A 4-year-old watched a scene where a mom cooked. This kid watched this mom turning on the stove, so he wants to try that with themselves. Isn't it dangerous? Yes, of course. Who on earth agrees to let their kids play with the stove? No. We're going to the 3 biggest effects of gadgets. 3, poor postures. Comfortable is one thing that every person considers when they are on their screen. But sometimes, when they too focus on this, they forget that this comfort slowly harms them. Focus plays an integral role in addiction. Focus on what they watch, what they see, or what they do. Well, this addiction surely becomes part of the habit we develop every day. Ask everyone, when they focus on something, they usually don't care about others, and they do that in that position, place, and posture. Yeah, it seems trivial, but actually it's serious. Children still don't understand this kind of danger they will face when they, too, focus on what they do on their smartphones and don't pay any attention to their posture. Let's say they sleep on the stomach, with the body elevated by the elbow and the head raised. Try this pose for at least 15 minutes. In the first 15 minutes, you won't feel anything, you just enjoy your phone. But if you stand up, you will feel pain on your shoulders and back, or maybe you will feel dizzy. Imagine you do this kind of posture every day for at least an hour. What will happen to your body then? Just like children, as we have discussed in every section. They still don't understand this information, so they will do it as long as they are happy. But what long-term effect is caused by this habit? 2, violence. It's not a secret anymore that social media is one of the main things that affects many wrong things. So what kind of effect did that have on the user, especially kids? Technological advancement means we know many things we can't see with our eyes directly. Much information, either good, bad, hoax, or many other things. Simply put, we hold the entire world in our hands. With this chance, we can control what we consume, what we want to see, and what we need to see. But again, a child doesn't have this ability. So, as we talk in the information overload part, when kids consume so much information beyond what they can receive, maybe sometimes they watch or receive an issue about wrong things such as bullying or any violence on social media. We know that we are what we consume. Simply put, when we watch a horror movie, whether willingly or unwillingly, we will be scared after watching it, although we weren't before. Same as this. If we often consume one kind of content, moreover, social media algorithms that suggest what we always watch, as, give us related content. We often see kids bullying each other, either verbal bullying or cyberbullying. In your opinion, where do they learn from? Yes, social media is one of the main things that affects 1. Affect mental illness. Yes, something we often can't see can have a bad impact on us, especially when we too focus and give a lot of attention to our gadgets. Without realizing it, it will kill us slowly. Some mental illnesses like bipolar, depression, anxiety, and autism are often caused by a bad environment. Like if you are too focused on a game, for example, and you lose on that, what's next? Yeah, you will stress over it because it did not turn out as you expected. But you do that again and again. This stress will stack up in your brain and body and then slowly turn into a mental illness. Who knows, it's causing anxiety disorder, depression, or bipolar disorder, especially when they are still children who can't do something with a clear mind. Isn't it getting worse? iPad kids, or as we call it now, the alpha generation, are very glued to their gadgets. We can't deny it. And as we know, social media and the internet are two of the most important things to them. What do you think? We know that they have a good impact, but sometimes something like what we discussed before is possible. There are also cases around us. It's not time for us to pretend we don't know and keep giving gadgets to children without a reason. We know that we're living with technological advancement, but that's not the reason we should raise our children with the wrong function of technology. Let's say we should do that. We can still teach them many positive things, such as in creative ways, learning videos, or if you prefer not to use gadgets as a tool to raise your child, you can try a lot of other ways. Dolls, puzzles, traditional toys, or just play with your kids. It's more positive than letting your kids do everything they want with their gadgets. Well, our discussion should end here. See you in the next more interesting video. Don't forget to turn on the notifications and see you